So I work for Broadcom. I'm the chief value stream architect. Used to work for Connectall. Probably getting both mics on that. And I've been kind of doing this value stream mapping, value stream management thing for a long time now. Quite a long time, since I started in manufacturing way back in the 90s. Anyway, so I've got an exercise for us to go through. I'm going to use a real-world experience, and I'm going to ask the audience some questions, right? So, you know, a long time ago, I did this presentation on value stream mapping and value stream management at a DevOps conference. And the challenge here with Acme Corporation is that the company is seeing some disruption from Stark Industries with their top customer, Wile E. Coyote. The challenge is their quality is lower, and Stark has better missile guidance systems. And we have to help Acme actually still keep their business with Wile E. Coyote. Otherwise, they're going to lose their market share in guidance systems to Stark Industries. So we were asked to work with them. So what did we do first? And this is our goal here for our session. Let's help Wile E. Coyote catch Roadrunner. So what did we do first? We mapped out the value stream. I can't tell you how many of these I've done over the years, where an all-day affair, where you just get in there and ask, where's the work coming from? How's it getting there? What are the sections? What's going on? You just map that all out. Big session. Now, somebody earlier said that normally does not turn into actionable events. Well, then you have to take it and do that. You have to use lean principles, systems thinking to decouple the value stream. Now, I'm getting to where inspect makes sense, right? But first I have those pieces, right? Mapped, and now I can start to decouple that. So this is part of decoupling it, where I look at where the inputs are and the outputs are, phase transition, that's systems thinking kind of thing. And that's your cycle time from end to end, from request to code in production on a value stream. And there were a lot of issues they had here. And then you have to take this after you map that out and then go and actually transform that into a digital map. Now, we have a free value stream mapping tool if you want to use it. It's got all the icons and stuff. You drag and drop, connect stuff. Feel free. It's at valuestreammanagement.com. It's been around for a while. It's absolutely free to use. So we actually created a map from here. So this is actually a tool chain map and a value stream map where you can actually see these things going together and how things flow. Connecting both the artifacts you can draw out of here and all that things like that. You can connect all that and actually manage maybe an artifact flow of how things are moving between all the different phases. Now, what we have to do with this now is inspect it and kind of figure out what we can do to make this more efficient and where the problems are. Because you have these conversations, you actually get a lot of other information where you can do things like findings, recommendations, and impacts, and make recommendations on how to improve flow in your value stream. I'm a big fan of lean principles. I think everybody's familiar with these now, right? I'm going to talk about waste, but lean is about improving flow, establishing pulls, seeking perfection through your value stream, continuous improvement, and so on. But I want to focus on these areas here, these areas of waste, and that's where my exercise is going to come into play, right? And it's a very interesting topic, but I want to decouple each one of these areas with y'all here. I just became Southern again. And actually go through each one of these. So let's look at this. This is talent waste. Where does talent waste apply? This is some of the numbers are the ones that would be from more of manufacturing, but how do we apply this? Anybody have an idea? Just speak right up of what talent waste would be in your value stream. Any idea?
Not including the right people. Not including people.
Not including people, right?
Pigeonholing people into certain skill sets.
Right, skill sets. So there's a, you know, I don't have to write it down. I was going to, but. Right, you're wasting time. Talent waste, right?
Insufficient information.
That might be, I'm going to go with it. Might be another one, though.
Lack of innovation.
Lack of innovation, yeah, those are all, there's all these things. But when you're looking at the value stream, you could see areas where like maybe you're using the wrong person or there's a wrong bottleneck. There's all different types of waste from that, the talent waste. That one's actually the hardest one to kind of think about and decouple when you start to look at these areas of waste and value stream management in your value stream. Inventory waste. Somebody said something about this the other day.
Building stuff that people don't use.
Building stuff that people don't use.
Building stuff that's stuck in the release queue.
Stuck in, yeah, that's all waste, and you see it there. WIP,
Yeah.
too much in your backlog, too much to manage. I call that gumming up your backlog, where you've got all this in there and nobody knows what to prioritize what. Excessive lead time, overproduction. That's where you've got too many things you want to do to prove what you want to do. So I overproduce. I create too many artifacts, too many things. I spend too much time on it. I'm fond of saying 90% of what we do in software development delivery is deciding what to do, not actually putting it together. That's
Features not used.
that's right. It's all too much inventory. Go ahead.
I just heard an amazing little anecdote at lunch. Someone relayed that they mapped a value stream in an organization, and it turned out that their prioritization process took 103 days and $275,000 to figure out whether they should build something that was worth $500,000. It was incredible, but I don't think it's uncommon.
No, I don't either. I think there is a lot of There's another waste for that too. Transportation waste. How do we have transportation waste?
Handoffs.
Moving bits.
Too many handoffs, right? Any other thoughts on transportation waste? The thing I like about these is when you're talking to executive, you can say things like, well, that's transportation waste. Here's why this is a problem. When you're talking to people in the transformation, you can say, oh, that's over-processing waste. Here's why. And it gives you a context to communicate. Not like, hey, you're doing too much. That's over-processing waste. Here's what it's costing you. Any other thoughts on that one?
Maybe moving data from one system to the other, perhaps manually, or multiple
Right.
source code management systems.
Moving data around too much, moving code around, moving artifacts from one system to another. Defects. Defect waste. That's an interesting one to kind of decouple that, right? So in manufacturing, that's scrap, rework, all these things, but all these apply when you think about it. And defects are more than the defects and bugs that we manage. There's other defects in your system. Any other ideas of types of defects?
Features not fit for use.
That's a defect, yeah.
Security vulnerability.
Security vulnerability. Speech interpretation, please. AI, can you help me? That was a joke for Al. I didn't hear it. Yes, vulnerabilities. I know.
How about building stuff that nobody wanted?
Yep, that as well. All right, then there's movement waste. It's a little different than transportation waste. There's your over-processing, right, of creating way too much stuff and moving that around. Wait time. Wait time is movement waste. And I've looked at, go ahead.
Communication loops. Comes back, ever decreasing circle, having to go back and
Isn't that insane? That's I call that feedback. I call that value stream noise, right? I mean, we do these maps, but the value streams are much noisier than what we ever look at. But over communication. Steve gave me the keep going faster lick finger. So wait waste. That's wait time. That's you're waiting to market. You can look at the value stream and see these things. If you talk to the people and see the processes, there's yours right there. Approval process waste, right? I mean, I get it done. I got to redo it. I got to get it approved. 4 people got to approve that to move to production. How do you automate that if you do have to do it? Overproduction. All these kind of go together, but it kind of aligns to, I'm creating too many artifacts. I'm overproducing it. I'm just not getting it to market quick enough. I can't tell you the number of engineering heads I've had discussions with about, let's just pick something and fail. And then if that fails, then we'll just pick the other thing. And then finally we'll find success. But I'll spend more time deciding what to do than to do it. Am I hitting the key? There we go. All right, so now we took that map. We were thinking about these things, right? We've got different things going on in here. We've got some times in here. But some of these things start to look at that. Now I'll have data. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just answering the question.
Oh.
I was interrupting you, but
Oh, dude.
I just wanted to be first beforehand.
So I have data to make some decisions, but I can wrap those around those areas of waste and use that to communicate. Where do you see the waste?
I see almost 10 weeks there.
Good catch.
Which I assume is a delay.
That is a delay. That is very much a delay. So we'd see that delay there. So this is the problem because Acme can't improve their missile guidance systems quick enough because they have a big delay. Where else would this show up? Besides right there.
4.5 days.
So there's the delay. It would show up in poor quality, but it would also show up in the metrics, right? So you can say, oh, I've got a defect waste, and what's going on? Why is that happening? So as you're inspecting the value stream, you're looking at the metrics. You've got to look at through this lens of kind of, somebody said earlier, being an investigation. And then once you have an understanding, now you have to figure out how am I going to fix that? How am I going to improve that? And you continually do this against your value streams as you're looking at metrics to guide and improve your business. So there's defect waste. Then lastly, what can I do? Well, here's another kind of look at that same report, which is a bottleneck report, which shows a big delay in ready for development. Why? What's causing this? You got to keep, the 7 whys. Remember the 7 whys? Those are always important. So what's going on there? Well, I've got weight waste. What's causing that weight waste? Well, if I go one layer below, if I go one, oh, you didn't put that new slide up for me, but one chart below, I'll realize that there's an approval waste over processing waste, and those things are sitting in a queue waiting for somebody to approve it. And that's why they're not. So all we had to do is say, okay, how do we change this? How do we be more iterative in our approval process? So the end result is that. Got the missile system working better. Right? And finally, there was a victory. So this is just some techniques I've learned to look at the value stream, see how you're producing software, decouple what's really going on, get that information from your clients, and then use these practices, which are been around for a long time, to talk to people and take a look at things. Any questions?
Why is Roadrunner smiling?
Is he? Oh, he's probably bought something from Stark. Yeah, he's probably bought something from Stark Industries. So that's probably what happened there. Any other questions? Any thoughts? Yeah.
So I actually, okay, you again.
I used a similar approach, but looking at it from the 8 forms of waste against multi-level processes. So not just what the teams do, but what leaders do in strategy execution. So like this is everywhere in a hierarchy, right? Because those forms of waste can be spotted not just at what was traditionally, production of software, but everything that we do in anticipation of that.
It's very true. So I work for organizations and I see this waste and I'm like, anyway, and I don't want to say much after them, but you're right, it's everywhere. But what I like about that and a lot of the lean principles is it's a way to communicate, right? This is over-processing waste. Here's what's happening. Here's the effect. This is movement waste. Here's what's going on. Here's what we need to improve, right? And you're communicating in a way that says, okay, that makes sense, right? And every time I talk in lean words, people kind of listen to me, right? Go ahead, Al. You had a question too.
Well, I was just going to say it kind of compounds because when you've got that 10-week wait and you've got stories in the backlog waiting to go through the system, when you're getting feedback from the customers, you're going to be pumping more stories in to address these needs, which may overlap on the ones that are sitting in your backlog. So now you're pushing crap through the pipeline that nobody's going to want because the real story's still sitting in the main backlog.
Yeah. Spoken like only Al could say. But yeah, but you'll uncover that with this type of process, right? You'll see where are these things because you're mapping it out, you're talking to them. And what we do, we create this thing called finding recommendations and impacts. So it'd be finding movement waste, recommendation, here's an impact if you change it. Not just leave the big diagram. Any other questions? Last question? How am I doing, Steve? Am I all right? You made me rush, but I had a little more time. You're like, am I a little over?
Really?
Yeah, you
He just optimized your flow last
He did. That's called turbulent flow. He created right there. He ruined my laminate flow process.
Unbelievable.
Any last questions? Go ahead.
Well, we've got time for another question if anyone has. And if not, then let's give a big hand to Phil and
Thank you.
to Lance.